Well, hello everyone. So I just wanted to get on. It's not going to be a quick workshop, so it'll probably be about 20 to 30 minutes. So hopefully some of you can spare some time while you're eating lunch or whatnot. And so anyway, just thought I'd get on and do a little bit of Food Prep 101. So first thing is first. So this is a workshop that I generally have done in the past. The last one was August 25th, and I actually did one online for a cooking event that I'm doing last night. And so I just thought maybe I'd get on to also start looking at food prep for you. It is a workshop that I used to do inside my house. You would be given a PowerPoint presentation and a pen, and I'd have a whole bunch of food dispersed out, and you'd be helping me food prep for the week. So I also did workshops such as mason jar soup workshops, nourish bowl workshops. So you would also get a template on how to do those yourself as well. So I wanted to quickly go over a few points which might be helpful. So what I think you should do, if anybody can, is grab a notebook and a pen and take some notes. So first, Food Prep 101. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. So I hope that you guys get some intel on how to food prep. So one, what is food prep? So food prep is the act of planning and preparing meals, recipes, or ingredients to enjoy later on in the week. Meal prep is different for everyone. There are actually several ways to food prep, and so I'll go over a few of those, but I use a combination of all four, and I know a few of you also do the same. So the advantages: it saves time, saves money, reduces food waste, and reduces temptation outside of your plan. So a plan can be a diet plan or a budget plan. Types of food prep. So one is make ahead meals. So cooking complete meals in advance to be reheated later. Example for like this would be a casserole, for instance. You just take your chunks, throw them in the microwave when you need them, and that's it. Two, batch cooking or freezing. So this could be preparing multiple batches of a recipe to be portioned and frozen for meals in the future. So example could be Teresa, for instance, one of my consultants. She does freezer meals and pops them into the Instapot or in her slow cooker in the morning, and she has a meal for the day. I tend to do this, where I purchase a family-sized ground beef package, and I may only use the portion of it for tacos that night, but then I make all of my meatballs, for instance, throw them in the oven while we're eating, and once they're done, I pop them in the freezer for later use. I may not have a recipe at the time for them, but at least I have them ready for when I need them. Also saves money too when you purchase family-sized packages. Three, individual portions for meals. So this would be something like your mason jar soups. So mason jar soups are a great way to get nutrition in your body, especially for the on-to-go people. All you have to do is essentially boil water before you eat. I'll give you an example of what it looks like. My husband made these last night during our food prep. So he makes portion-sized meals ready to go. Just grab and go. All you do is add boiling water to this and you have hot soup. And then the fourth type of food prep is ready to cook ingredients. So ready to cook ingredients means, let's just say if you don't like leftovers like casseroles and stuff like that, you could still food prep to have all the ingredients ready to go so that when you're ready to eat, you just quickly make it. So I'll be showing you, I have lettuce, cheese, cucumbers, let's see here, radishes, tomatoes, quinoa, onions. I have all of this already pre-cut so that when I am hungry and I'm ready to eat, I just throw it all together on a plate and I'm done. That's the whole point of ready to cook ingredient meal prep. So things to consider when you're food prepping are things, or at least getting started in this, is consider if you're cooking for one, for two, or for a family. If you're home a lot, if you travel a lot, or if you consistently eat at home or out, are you okay with eating leftovers? reheating your food? Do you prefer to cook fresh every day? Do you love your Instapot or your slow cooker? And how often do you like to grocery shop? That's really important as well. And what meals is most difficult for you? Figure out if breakfast is most difficult, dinners, snacks, those kinds of things. Figure out what you find is most challenging in your kitchen. So the first step I always recommend to people before you start meal planning and meal prepping or becoming a pro at it one day is it's important to be comfortable in your space. So declutter your kitchen, organize your drawers and your cupboards, have commonly used kitchen appliances available and rarely used ones put away. Have a dedicated space for food prepping, clean out your pantry, your fridge, throw away anything you don't use, donate them, I don't care, get rid of them, you don't need them. And have a way to keep inventory of low running items is important. You don't have to have a big kitchen to be able to meal prep. I lived with my brother, with my husband, my brother and me with 4 dogs for over a year in his mobile home while we were waiting for our house to be built. And he only had his kitchen table essentially. And we still continued to meal prep on that kitchen table. So you do not need to have a chef's kitchen to be able to meal prep and plan. Typical items you'll need. So make sure you have the necessities, right? Good quality knives is very important to me. I hate chopping things unless I have a good knife to do so. So keep that in mind. I do invest. I have one $300 knife to help me through my chopping dilemmas that I hate. So I did invest money into that. You don't have to, but just make sure you have good quality knives. You want your cutting boards, you want to have whisks, you want to have flippers and spoons and ladles. You may want to look at a slow cooker and Instapot. I like my steamer as well, which is very important. Mandolins are really important to me as well. And make sure you always have like a garbage bowl and a organics bowl near you so that you can just throw things in there instead of touching things with your hands all over the place looking for garbages and all that good stuff. And make sure you have containers and freezer bags. So step 1 is invest in quality containers. So this is for storing your food. So remember, look for containers of different sizes to meet your goals. Keep in mind that you'll be using those containers in the oven, in microwaves, freezing perhaps. So think of those kinds of things. What kind of materials do you prefer and trust in your household? I trust only glass. I don't use very much plastic in my house. I find that like plastic or even I hate to say it, but even Tupperware sometimes will absorb garlic and onion smells, which I use a lot in my cooking. So I just go for glass in general. Make sure they're stackable as well. That's very important. Step 2, plan, plan, plan. This is the key to success. Plan what your diet is, or at least write down what your diet is. What are your goals? What are your budget goals, or what are your diet goals? Write those down because what you want to do is you want to try to meet those as best you can. So you need to pre-plan first. Now I have to admit, I was never good at planning or meal prepping before. I've become kind of a pro at it now, but it does take time. So don't be too stressed about it. But what you really want to do is set those goals and then plan your meals around that. Because when you're planning, that's when you have the best brain at the time, because if you're in the middle of a store trying to plan something with all the food and all the goodies around you, you're not gonna meet your goals. So write down your goals and start planning. Know what your work week looks like. So I never plan a month in advance my dinners. I plan a week in advance because I can tell generally what my schedule looks like, okay? So do I have meetings? Do I have to travel? Do you have kids that go to hockey? Will your family be over for dinner? Is there work lunch scheduled? Those kinds of things to keep in mind. So for me, planning 1 week in advance is key for me. I don't think I can do it a month in advance, but you do what's best for you. So where do you start? For people who are new to food prep, start with something small, like let's look at breakfast. Let's not do the whole meals and snacks for the week. Let's just do breakfast at first and work yourself up to meal prepping your entire meals. And do not stress, or else you'll likely not continue. What I found is that, so what I started off was with breakfast because that was my challenge as well. But now I can actually food prep all of my breakfast, lunch, dinners, and snacks within 2 hours on a Sunday afternoon for the entire week. Okay, those are your goals. I'm sure they're my goals too. That saves me so much time, because if you think about it, every day that you cook a meal, breakfast is probably not as long, but dinner, for instance, planning it, chopping it or prepping, cooking it, eating it, cleaning up, portioning it, doing the dishes, those kinds of things. Like, how many hours do you dedicate that time to? You're probably looking at, 1 to 2 hours every dinner just to do that. Whereas I now just go and grab my meal, pop it in the microwave, go to the bathroom, do what I have to do, come back, I'm done, I'm ready, I'm eating. And then all I have to do is clean that one dish or put it in the dishwasher. That's it. So I save myself about 14 to 20 hours of cooking and prepping a week by doing 1 2 hour day by prepping everything. So another thing is I get it. Everybody has your picky eaters in your family. I have one too. So, and you know who that is, because he's the only one in my family. So, what you should do is find recipes that all your family likes. Look for recipes that they all enjoy. Keep it simple, and you may be able to offer customizable meals for your family by using one recipe. So for instance, here's one example. So somebody I knew loved, the whole family loves mac and cheese, but their kids only liked like mac and cheese, and that's it. Pasta and mac and cheese sauce, and that's it. So the person I had talked to said, well, what about me? Like, I don't want to cook another meal for myself. So what I suggested was, okay, cook the mac and cheese, but then on the side, cook a little bit of like some ground turkey or even chicken breast, saute some onions and saute some asparagus, maybe add a little bit of pesto drizzle on top of yours. So you're giving them mac and cheese, but at the same time, you're enhancing your meal by using the exact same recipe, just adding a little bit more to it. Then that way you're not making two meals, you're kind of making a one meal with a little bit of enhancement on another. So just keep that in mind. And if your family loves a recipe, keep it, write it down. I have a little black box with cue cards. I write all of the recipes that my family likes, and then I make notes of any alterations so that I know in the future how I can manage or make customizable meals. Planning unexpected meals. Now, not so much during COVID, but I have done where I've had emergency meals in the freezer so that if company did come, then I'd have something ready to pop in the microwave or in the steamer or in the oven or on the barbecue. So that's really important as well. Shopping. So writing out your grocery list. So when I do my presentations, I generally show everybody how I meal plan. So what I do is I grab my recipes, then I write out all the ingredients that I need, and I circle the ones that have common ingredients. You'd be surprised how many ingredients are quite common in meals. So we do, mason jar soups, nourish bowls, marinated steak and Greek salad. Then we made meatballs to freeze, and we make goulash, those kinds of things. Skillet for the week. So I circled everything, and peppers was a big one in our lists. So was onions, and so was chicken. So a lot of those things. So then what you would do essentially is write down then all the ingredients. So peppers, I would need 4 for chopping, 2 for slicing, so I'd need 6. Then onions, 2 finely chopped and 1 chopped, so I would need 4 onions. And so why I do that is because I make a list. When I go to the grocery store, I actually make a list and I head straight to those ingredients and then leave. I don't putter around the store adding more products to my cart than I need, because I have diet goals and budget goals. And you're less likely to be tempted, and you are also less likely to buy more food than you need. So instead of buying 6 peppers, I only need 4 for my recipes, so that those 2 peppers don't go bad in my fridge, okay? So that's generally what the meaning of the lists are. So not only are you looking at reducing food waste, but you're also saving money in the long run as well. Make sure you look at your fridge and pantry before you leave as well to make sure you have ingredients already in there. One thing that I always say is, like, when you start a program, or I guess anything like that, you start like a new program, you're always going to put a little bit more effort at the beginning than you would when you become a pro at it. Because 2 hours on a Sunday, was not what my general time for food prep was. It was usually about 4 hours to start. And then I got into a routine, and I understand how food meal planning and prepping is. So one of the things that I know is annoying for many people is reading food labels. I do think it's very important, but if you do the certain steps, like I'm going to announce to you now, it might be easier for you in the future. So yes, reading labels sucks, but the most important thing is to know what's in your food, especially if you're watching sodium and sugar intake. Did you know that diet food has more sugar in it than full fat? And did you know that some canned goods have food dyes in them, like pasta sauces, to make them redder and more attractive to you? Did you know one can of corn is not equal to another can of corn, because brands do differ? What I found was that, yes, I read labels and that takes a little bit of time, but then I make sure I write down the brands and the products that I have approved for myself, and I write them down, and then I consistently buy them. Unico, for instance, their canned tomatoes tend to have less sugar in it, if not any sugar, and they also don't have salt in it. So I prefer Unico over that, but not every brand's the same. So make sure you're reading, because for instance, Unicore corn is not what I buy. I actually buy frozen corn now because of all the extra salt and sugars are added to canned corn. I prefer to buy frozen corn. So remember, buy real food and use real ingredients. Very rarely do I actually shop inside the aisles unless I'm looking for rice or canned vegetables, for instance. But yeah, very rarely am I shopping in the aisles. It's always the perimeter, so always fresh food. But you know what? I've had my cheat times. I am not perfect at this either. There's some days where I'm like, oh my God, I'm not food prepping this week. I'm just so tired, I'm done. And then I regret it at the end of the month because I look at my budget and it's gone up because we've done takeout, or, we're eating crap. So, maybe shopping in the aisles a little bit more and buying chips and doing nachos every night for the week. And then my pants essentially regret it. So just keeping on track is important, but you don't worry if you ever deviate from it. It happens to the best of us. Just get back on track. Step 4 is to prep. Pick one day of the week to spend 1 to 3 hours of preparing food. I recommend, and I really do highly recommend this, I recommend you do your food prep right after grocery shopping, because you have everything out of the bags all over your counter and you're already have it all available. Get out your knife, wash those vegetables, prep them and put them in containers, and then you're done, okay? Because the last thing and most common happens is you put things in the fridge and they get forgotten. And then you're like, oh, I'll just wash them another day. Do they really get washed? Come on, you guys, be honest with yourself. Most times I'm throwing out fresh fruits and vegetables because they're stuck in the back of my fridge and I didn't see them. So my recommendation is to do your food prep right after grocery shopping. Make this a family event. Kids can help wash fruit and vegetables. At the age of 5 to 6, they can actually handle knives. As long as you teach them good knife handling and, monitor them, they should be fine. I know a lot of people who have their 5 to 6 year olds helping cook on the stove, because they've showed them, good practices with the stove. But you know what? And then they can be your sous chef and chop for you. And it's good life skills for kids. I think COVID has really shown that a lot of people have no kitchen skills or very little kitchen skills. So people are cooking more at home because they fear of when they get takeout, how their food is handled, who handled their food, right? There's that fear. So when you actually prepare your own meals at home, you know how it's handled. And it's good life skills for children to start developing those skill sets. Step 5 is to portion. So make a perfectly balanced plate or container. Now this goes with the Epic Life Challenge and Epic Life collection that we have. And it's also on par with the Canadian food standards as well. So you should have half of your plate with veggies and fruit. You should have a quarter of your plate with lean protein. You should have a quarter of your plate with grains and starchy veggies. And don't forget at least one serving of healthy fat. And it's preferred that you drink water with all your meals, or you can also drink tea and all that good stuff with it too. Just try to reduce your sugar where you can. So food for thought. So these food for thoughts are kind of like really quick, easy things that you could be doing that would make your food prep a little bit easier. So all food can be used to food prep. However, some are better than others. So soft fruits and vegetables tend to deteriorate quicker, especially when you've washed them. So eat these meals first. Freeze unused food for soups and smoothies. So my husband has a weird thing about like not having wrinkly veggies and wrinkly fruit. So I totally get that, right? So sometimes I can't hide them in stir fries, sometimes I can, but if I can't, I usually try to freeze them and just add them to soups or to smoothies, right? Wrinkly blueberries are still good. You just throw them in the freezer when you need them, then you can pop them in a smoothie. Crunchy items like crackers or croutons tend to get soggy next to other foods, so keep them dry and separate in other containers and add when ready to eat. Best to eat prepared meals within 4 to 5 days, and then eat freezer meals or fresh meals from the remaining days of the week. Buy bulk and freeze portions for other recipes, or if you have time, prepare them first, then freeze them for early meals. So if you get like a 10 thing of chicken breasts at Costco, season and cook 2 now for salads, and then season and 2 and season or marinate 2 and put them in the fridge for a fresh meal dinner in a few days, or season and place 2 in a freezer bag labeled and put in the freezer for future slow cooker meals. And then you can freeze the other 4 for plain ones for thawing and future use for other recipes. So it's actually more expensive to buy 1 or 2 chicken breasts than it is to buy a big package. But you don't have to eat them all at once. You can prepare them and get them ready for future recipes. Use ingredients that you can use for several meals. So example, if you're making tzatziki sauce, which can be used as a dressing for salad as well, a dip for fresh cut vegetables, and as a glaze for chicken when you pan fry it. So think of it that way. Or for example, peppers are chopped for stir fries. Peppers can be used as sliced fresh as a snack, can be added to salads, prepared for, you can use it for your pizza on a Wednesday night, and then use those same chopped peppers for pineapple chicken breast on the weekend, or you can put them in your freezer meals and add it to whatever you need. So it's just, you know what, if you think that you can utilize those 6 peppers instead of 4, great, because if you're using it for freezer meals, it's excellent. Try being more flexible with your meals. So being a flexitarian. When you can reduce meat for some veggies like grated zucchini in your chili to reduce ground beef, try it. Or use veggies that would not normally be in your meals, like roasted asparagus on pizza. So be a little bit experimental and be a little bit of a flexitarian so that you can also watch your budget, because meat is getting more expensive, and it does take a toll on the environment. So do what you need to do. But I know I've used grated zucchini in my chili and to reduce my ground beef, and my husband never even noticed. So, and with experimentation and practice, you will discover a style of prep that you enjoy and works for you and your family. So, let's see here. So I would give you instructions on step-by-steps on how to do things. And you would also get like a Nourish bowl, how to make a Nourish bowl. And if I did a Nourish bowl class, then you would write down the ingredients that you use so that you can replicate it at home. But I do give a Nourish bowl for a bacon cheeseburger bowl and a breakfast bowl. And then for the mason jar soups, again, when I do a workshop, you'd be essentially given a pen so that you can write down what you put in your mason jar soup. But then I would also give you recipes here. So there's one for an Asian soup and then one for a vegetable soup. So that is it for food prep. So I just wanted to show you what I'm making for myself. So Sunday's food prep, I had created a whole bunch of ingredient ready for my meal, because to be honest, I don't like salads that have been sitting for 2 to 3 days with their dressing on it. It gets really soggy. So I like fresh. So all I did was pre-cut all of my vegetables to be ready for the week. So here's some lettuce. We have some cucumber. Remember, try to eat the rainbow if you can. So we got some cucumber. We got some white and green onion in here. I think there's also some garlic scapes in it. Let's see here. We got some tomato. So how easy is this, right? Rather than like making time, like are you more likely on your lunch hour going to be, here's some quinoa. Are you going to be like whipping out the knife and the cutting board and cutting everything every day for every lunch? Likely not. You're likely going to go grab your bag of chips and eat those, right? Then we got some radishes. See here, got a little bit of feta cheese. Not even open yet. Come on. Don't have time for this. Still good. Some feta. See here. And I forgot to make my salad dressing, which is fine because then this gives me a time to demo it. So I'm gonna make a salad dressing in here because it is creamy. I find the curate sometimes is a little hard to get that creamy stuff out. So I prefer a bowl. So you can follow the recipe on the back if you like. I like to kind of like create things as I go. Let's see here. So I got some mayonnaise. I'm gonna probably make enough for the rest of the week. So it's usually 1 part mayo, 1 part sour cream or Greek yogurt. I like doing sour cream and Greek yogurt, doesn't matter. I like doing them because it actually like lightens the salad dressing a little bit more. Some people just like mayo, but I like sour cream. So today we're gonna make the potato salad mix. And there is a vinaigrette recipe on here as well as a creamy. And so I'm just gonna add, it says 2 tablespoons, but I always do dumping. I'm a dumper, right? And then you're gonna mix it. So if anybody here actually watches me do other workshops, what is the secret ingredient to my dressings usually? Anybody? Anybody? It's actually pickle juice. So I always have empty pickle juice jars in my fridge because I actually prefer to use pickle juice as a thinner for dressing. I find that because there's like a really attractive salt content in it that and who doesn't like, just making my mouth salivate. I love pickle juice. I also shoot it once in a while. It's good for you. It has like probiotics and all that good stuff. Does anybody have questions? Now with salad dressings, if it's non-creamy, you can keep it on your countertop for about 5 to 7 days. If it has creamy, obviously you should put it in the fridge. What else can I say? Oh, and if you do use olive oil, which you can add to this if you want more of an olive oil in it, is the trick with olive oil is if you throw it in the fridge, it will solidify. It'll look gross, but it's not bad. It just, olive oil does not like to be in the fridge, does not like to be cooled. So if you did accidentally throw it into your fridge and it's all chunky and like hard, just let it sit at room temperature for a few minutes and it'll be fine. Just give it a good shake. So that's it. So all I'm gonna do is spread my dressing on. So look how nice this dressing is. It's really good. And I really love the potato salad one. Has hints of rosemary in it. And here's the ingredients for it. Let's see. Ingredients: onion, herbs, red bell pepper, inactive nutritional yeast, which is great for you, mustard, paprika, black pepper, and part of those herbs is actually rosemary. I think that's it. I hope you all enjoyed that. Again, rewatch if you've missed a lot of it, but I did talk a lot about how to food prep and how to prepare. I can do another workshop if you like, something privately in a group with you and your friends. I can actually, you can watch me food prep if you like, but generally speaking, it is easy to do once you tried it a few times, okay? Hope everyone enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. Bye now.